We're going to do this together. And we're going to
forever.
Okay.
Do you have a drink?
I have this mushroom coffee that my mom bought me.
Of course you do. Okay.
And so hopefully it has side effects.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. I'm also very nervous, but we're going to get through this. I want to show people that I'm also risking it. So it's okay to be nervous.
Just you and me, baby.
Just you and me, baby. Just you and me. Okay. Welcome to the Risk It with Kristi podcast. This is Kristi. We are here today with a very special person. It is my first interview, guys, and this was a no-brainer. So I'm going to read off a script because, again, we're risking it. This is new. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So, all right, let's go. We are here with Danet Torres, risk taker extraordinaire, badass business girly, super mom to 3 kick-ass kids, detail-oriented and very caring friend, skin wellness architect as a licensed esthetician, the owner of Amani Head Spa, which, by the way, is the most relaxing 60 to 90 minutes you will ever get in your life. Get the 90 minutes. And all-around person that I know you should know. Inviting her to be my first guest at Risk It was literally a no-brainer, and we're all blessed that she said yes and that she's going to grace us with her presence here today.
I'm going to cry. What?
Good. All right. So when I think of Danet, I literally think of risk taker. I have often admired her from afar and how eloquently she moves from bold move to even bolder action with ease, grace, and always with the cutest outfits. Follow her just for that, guys. She has been, how long have we known each other? Like,
oh my God. 9 years?
Has it been 9 years?
I think so.
No, I think it's been 10 years.
A decade?
It's been 10 years.
How lucky are we?
I know, we're so lucky. Okay. In the 10 years that I've known her, she has been a photographer, a jewelry store owner with the cutest jewels, a landowner, Airbnb owner, hair care specialist, business consultant. She studied as a medical assistant. She was a carpenter assistant. She was probably even a carpenter. And baddie fashion and makeup influencer. So, Danet, what else have you done?
Listen, I love how you see me. Okay. That's who
you are,
when
baby.
You put that all together, it sounds kind of crazy, let me tell you.
It is crazy. And that is me watching you and your life of like what you have been able to do and just like jumping into whatever the fuck excites you and going for it. So what else have you done? Talk to us about kind of like, you know, how is Danet? Where did your journey start? What was the transition of where you were and where you are today?
Oh, to be honest, I think it's all due to my kids, if I'm being honest.
That's so sweet.
So I don't remember my life before motherhood. I was a mom when I was 18 years old. So I got to this country when I was 11. So from 11 to 17, I was just surviving, right? My life it was just my mom, my brother, and I. So it was not really, I didn't get a chance to experience anything. Okay. Then I became a mom and my whole life shifted and I was like, okay, I need to survive. I need to thrive. I need to be better. I need to do all the things that I can because of this person that I'm now solely responsible for. So that's how I really started, like my mindset shifted and I was like, okay, I need to do more. Granted, I wanted to be a pediatrician.
I gotta add that to the list.
That's what I wanted to be. I've always loved kids. I always said I wanted 4 kids. I wanted a big family. That was my dream. And then I said, I wanted to be a flight attendant, and I've had many career choices. Okay. That was my early life. Okay. Obviously, being pregnant, my dreams of becoming a doctor, I was like, not, not right now.
Yeah.
Not
That's
right
a
now.
big road at 18.
Yes, exactly. So I had some help in the first years of my firstborn life. I was able to go to school and work. My baby was the first in at a daycare and the last out. Okay. Very painful, but yes, that was just the reality of it. I was almost done with my medical assisting career when, something happened in the family. I went to visit my uncle at the hospital and I was like, whoa, this is just, I don't like the feeling that I just got. So the next day I went back to school and I'm like, I want to change. I want to do business administration. I always wanted to be a business owner. When they ask you, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I had all these things, but also a business owner.
Yeah.
And that was when I came to this country, but because back in Cuba, you can't really, what's a business owner? Nobody owns anything over there.
The government.
Exactly. So fast forward, I start my business administration. I'm almost done. Okay. I was just missing a few classes. I was pregnant with my second child. We're not even going to get into the struggles of that. I was working. I no longer had help. My mom moved to Texas. So we were very far apart. And I remember I don't remember a lot. Now that I know more, I know I was just so like surviving that my mind was just trying to, right? Not focus on anything else. But I remember waking up really early, dropping off Richard, going to school. It was in the morning. I packed my lunch. I would eat it on my way to work in my car while pregnant. Okay. And
Your
then,
belly was like the rest for the.
yes, don't do that, guys. Okay. Don't drive and eat or anything.
No,
Just drive.
we're not
Um,
promoting that.
we're not. Okay. It was just mistakes that you make. But then I would get to work. I would work and then get out and pick up my baby. Cooking, the cleaning, the laundry, the homework, my homework. It was just crazy. My second child was born and he would get sick all the time. Let me backtrack a little bit. My grandma gets here from Cuba when I was 7 months pregnant. Literally
With
saved my life.
Richard?
With my second, okay?
Okay.
Remember, I was alone.
Okay.
So she comes into my life. I had, what is it? Iron deficiency. Like I was anemic. I was 7 months pregnant and I was extremely anemic because it was just too much for myself, right? I wouldn't even eat sometimes.
Yeah.
So she comes into my life. I was already taking medication and obviously I was a repeat C-section. So I needed to bring my iron up. She literally saved my life. I tell her all the time, I'm like, you saved your granddaughter's life, okay? My grandma's everything to me,
Don't make
okay?
me cry.
No, don't cry because we're not doing this, okay?
We're not doing this.
We're not doing this. So my grandma comes and she doesn't want to stay and I'm like, please, I'm begging you. Obviously, she was concerned of not being like an extra carga for me. And I was like, forget about that. I need you here. So
Right.
she stayed. And that's where everything starts for me. Okay.
Oh.
So I leave my business administration with just, I swear to you, it was a couple classes left, which now I look back and I'm like, damn you. I was
Yeah.
just right there. But I was so exhausted. I couldn't see the light, right? I was like, no, this is not happening right now. So I left that. And that's where I was an estimator for a small construction company, which I loved, mind you. My whole life I'm so bad at math. I hate math. Turns out I just hate algebra, but I'm really good at like estimating.
Everything.
When it comes to money, I feel like I'm great. I love money. As
Money loves you.
No, girl. Mm-mm.
We had to get the giggles out, guys. So you at this point you are estimating for a small construction company, and you realize that it's not math that you hate; it's just algebra. So this opens up like a whole new world for you. So let's go back to like at that point in time, little Danet. Where is she?
Where am I? I am living in Hialeah or Miami Lakes. No, you know what? It was Hialeah at the time. But Richard was soon to go to school. And I was like, this neighborhood, the school grade is a C.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do. You see
Yeah.
why my kids are the ones? I know this.
Yeah.
So
Lived in
I'm like,
Hialeah. All the greatest come from Hialeah. It's just, just kidding.
hi, Aliyah in the house.
Okay.
God.
So Richard can't go to,
Richard can go to no C grade school.
no,
What?
absolutely not. We will
So I'm
not
like,
allow it.
mom needs to make more money.
Yeah.
So we moved to Miami Lakes.
Of course, because that's where you go. Pero Miami Lakes is nice. Okay.
Hialeah, yeah. People
You know?
don't want to say that they live in Hialeah, say they live in Miami Lakes.
Exactly. As long as you get it on the zip code, you already came up. So you're good.
Yep. So I said, I need to make more money. Like, I need to go to an A plus school for my child. Like, he needs to. Obviously, back then, I don't think you have because now you can take them anywhere. You just need to apply, something like that. Back then, it wasn't like that. You had to go to wherever you were,
Or
like your zip code
station.
was, right? Exactly.
Or grid.
So we moved to a very tiny apartment. We downsized, but like the best times of my life were in that apartment. It was tiny, tiny, tiny. We were all like, and then he starts in his new school. Everything's great. That's where little Danet was back then. And I remember I bought my first car with his tax return. You know how they give you a little bit more? So I was saving for a whole year. It took me a whole year and some to save $2,000. And then I received a $4,000 check. So a friend of mine had a red Hyundai that she was selling for $6,000. That's going to be my car. Just hold on for it for a few months, please. So I saved up. I bought my own little car, which I loved. Okay. It would take us from point A to B. And I remember saying, since I had 2 kids, I was like, I need a bigger car. So I want a Nissan Murano. I want a red Nissan Murano.
I remember that car.
We don't know about manifestation back then, but I was doing it. Okay. Because I said I wanted that. And that's what I got. It took me I think it was like 4 years or some. Mind you, my red Hyundai never got an oil change.
Because why would it? Cars don't need oil. What?
When I sold my red Hyundai, which I was missing, I think it was like $5,000. Because one thing, Danet back then didn't believe in having a car from a dealership that you had to pay a monthly fee for. Okay, I was like the most anti that in the world. My budget was my budget. So I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going to I want this car, but I'm not willing to pay monthly for it or any interest whatsoever. I want to buy it cash. So I remember that I put my little Hyundai for sale and I sold it for $6,000 after 4 years of driving it and putting so many miles in it that it was insane.
That is crazy.
Yes. I was like,
it was like the same price you bought it for.
The same price I bought it for. Yep.
Net learns sales.
My mom was like, nobody's going to buy you this car. And they did. Okay. Mind you, we did have to change the oil before we sold it. And the guy was like, this is a paste. It was, I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. Girl.
You're so lucky that it like ran for that long.
I'm so lucky I didn't like blew up or anything.
Oh my God.
And my tires?
Paque.
But we're not going to get into the details of everything. Yeah, it was my first car, okay? Ever.
I crashed my first car the first day I drove it, so you're still better.
I need to interview you.
Trying to go from Cooper City to Little Havana, so imagina where little Kristi was.
Oh God, I tell you, we have so many stories. I think we could write a book.
Honestly. Well, it's a lot of the same. So you come from Cuba, which is obviously this place that is like, there is opportunity is just so dim. unfortunately. You get here, you're in survival mode with your brother and your mom and just trying to, make it. You get pregnant at a young age, and that is what awakens this like huge just realization of like, oh my gosh, I something needs to happen. Like the survival mode off, or maybe a new kind of survival mode, like with a greater lens.
Yeah.
You go through that journey. You realize you love math, and you get pregnant with your second baby. You're living in this apartment in Miami Lakes. You have the audacity, and this is another thing that I really want to highlight about Danet is, we are not lacking in audacity over here. We are bold. We know what we want. We demand what we want. And it's almost kind of like confusing us to like, why can't I? Why? What is the problem? And we will figure out how to make it work. So we have the audacity to sell this beautiful red car. You're always wanting the Murano. We finally get to it, right? And you can tell that story of how that manifestation kind of like came up for you. But like, what was the first real risk that you took that you were like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I have to get through it? Was that even a mindset, or were you like, this is a great idea, everyone's going to want it, and you just fucking go for it? Because that is Danet.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. I do want to hear the manifestation about the car, though, because that is such a huge portion to all of this, is that spiritual portion and that, that manifestation part. So I want to hear that story, and then just like kind of thinking about like, at what point did you kind of take that big risk to like go after something?
So the Murano. I knew I wanted eventually a bigger car. I had 2 kids. I needed, right, a bigger car. I've always loved SUVs. I don't like sitting close to the street. That's not my vibe. So I said, oh, I love the car red, like the red car. I want something bigger. And a Murano was like very far, right, into the future for me. I was like, it looks so good. Obviously, we're not even talking like what I wanted, right? Like, oh, this looks good. Because back then I was like, my mindset was smaller, right? So I was like, I stayed within the commoners, right? Us. But I was like, this looks
Not
good.
that if you have a Murano, you're a commoner.
True. Can we edit
Oh,
that?
you stayed within what was reasonable for your budget at that time, which is
The thing is that what I
it's a
mean by
commoner
that,
mindset.
what I mean by that is sometimes you live in your bubble and you can never imagine. It's kind of like you reject it and you're like, I don't even like that. That's not for me, because you see it so far out of your reach that you kind of make excuses, as of saying, I don't like that. You get me what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I didn't know that back then.
it's the vulnerability that one has to accept, like almost like liking the things that you like, because
Yeah.
it's very much like an ego thing popping up, like that, like masculine popping up, where it's like, it's very hard to be like, oh, I really want that, but I can't have it. And so that is like the stem of that commoner mindset of like, I'm just going to stay within the realm of what I think is possible for me, and not within the realm of like, I really like that. How can I get that kind of thing? So
Exactly.
yes, I understand exactly. I had a whole Murano obsession too, and I got my Murano too. But like, I remember your red one, and I remember that was like during my phase of like, I want to get a Murano one day, and I saw your car and I was like, wow. So I want to hear that story for sure.
Yeah, my Murano was $8,000. So again, with the two, I was missing two because I had sold, or I wanted to sell it for $6,000. So my mom's like, you're crazy. I'm like, there's no other option for me. I have $2,000 saved. My Murano is $8,000. So I have to make it happen. So I sold that. And the same day I found my Murano, I went to, I think it was Little River, something like that.
Okay.
My mom took me. He's like, you want to try it out? I'm like, no, I don't want to try it out. This is my Murano. Like, I never like test drove it or anything. I'm like, give me the keys. He's like, let me just pop up the hood so you can see everything's working. I was like, okay, sure, whatever. So
If
he
you want
gave
to
me
give me
the
a tour.
keys. I just left with my Murano, and that was it. Literally, there's no more.
You made it happen, and that has literally been the story of your fucking life. I
Yeah.
actually have an excerpt in here that I didn't say from your intro, and it was like, in each venture she throws herself all in, no guardrails, and literally creates success wherever she goes. And that has literally been your story. I love the background of like where you came from, just that whole theme of like perpetual survival mode, because that's what it is. I mean, I had my daughter at 19 too, so I definitely get, the background family survival mode. Getting into pregnancy at an early age, that creates a whole different kind of survival mode. And then like finally getting to a point where you took all these risks in survival mode, and you've built kind of like a trust with yourself, or like a loyalty to yourself, that like, okay, I can do this. I loved the audacity about the red car. I love the manifestation come true about your Murano. That one story, and just like a background of your upbringing, is such a tell to like who you are as a person and who you are as a business baddie. Like, you are the same person throughout the different chapters of your life. And a huge part of that is audacity, is taking bold moves, is not second guessing yourself, is trusting that instinct. And then the other part is definitely allowing yourself to go all in, no guardrails. I feel like you apply the same passion and the same logic and the same energy towards every venture you have. It doesn't really matter what it is you're presenting. It always comes beautifully gift wrapped. It comes with a wealth of knowledge. It comes just purely passionate, if you really like what you're doing. What was your first moment, career wise, business wise, or maybe it was a personal moment that really made that feeling resonate with you? Like, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it.
I guess the whole track of me doing things, and they always working out, that made me. So for example, photography. Photography started not because I wanted to do photography, but because I wanted a camera. And a camera back then, when I bought it, was $1,200. It's like, I need to come up with a plan that would give me my money back. This is a hobby for me. I had my job, so I had a little bit more stability. I wasn't per se looking for something extra at the moment. I was just comfortable where I was. And I liked what I was doing. It was just more of, I want to take on this project for me, for something that I want to do for myself. I didn't know anything about it. And I just devoured videos on YouTube on how to set the camera. So that's how it all started. Me like looking into information, and this is the best camera, but it's this much and with this lens. So it boiled down to me seeing a specific camera that I wanted, coming up with the money, and then coming up with a plan to make my money back.
And so was that your first stint of like actual entrepreneurialism, or like creating something for yourself?
Yeah. And it wasn't even like I said, I didn't open up a business or anything. I just opened up like a little Instagram account. But I didn't open up like a legit business. So I was like, I made my money back and then some, and then I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. What's next?
And at what point was that transition? Because again, you saw it as a hobby, so the barrier to entry wasn't like, oh my god, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to put this out there. It was more like, all right, I want a hobby, I want to get my money back. But that is a great foundation to, hey, what else can I do? What was that spark that changed your mind from, you know, having the 9 to 5, which you had and you were happy with, and it was sufficient enough to you, to like, no, I
Yeah.
kind of want to figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
And having that.
So I think it was the carpentry business. So Brian was a nurse. He hated it. So he comes from a background of, his dad is a carpenter. He's an entrepreneur too. Like, he's always been like, so we opened up a business. It was a great change because, yeah, we didn't have the security of another income, right? So me with my business administration background, I was like, we could do this. Like, I opened up the company. I did all the financial stuff for it. I just needed him to like bring in the expertise. So I was like, if we could get 2 jobs a month, then we can replace your income, right? We weren't even like thinking big or anything back then. So that's how we started. We started with one bathroom a month, and then it was a little closet here, and then turned into a kitchen. And I was like, holy.
Was he also working during this time, or it was just like
It
off?
was just that.
Okay.
It was just that. Okay. I was the one who was working a 9 to 5.
Okay.
So I was like, holy moly, what? So obviously, with that coming from a person that has had nothing and sometimes nothing to eat, right? To living paycheck to paycheck, being happy though, because when you know nothing, when you know starving, being at peace is everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was content with that. But then comes in this opportunity where, what? Like you're profiting like so much on an 8-hour workday? That's insane. So that opens my mind to like, there's no shortage of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, this took years. All right, this is not
Yeah, and these are micro moments that lead up to this.
exactly. So I got into the mindset of I can spend whatever I want because money is going to come. And even if we didn't have anything like planned for the month, I was like, it's just going to come. And my favorite phrase that he to this day can tell you is the universe provides. I'm just a girl.
The
I know
universe
it
is
just
everyone's
provides.
sugar daddy, like just built in, just built
Yeah,
in.
so now, we're making all of this money. We move to Kendall because I had my third child, and I had a really bad pregnancy where I couldn't it work just because I had to be in like a bed rest. So we moved to Kendall, something even bigger, okay? Because we were more. And that's when I did the whole influencer. I bought my makeup, I had my camera, but I bought a computer and I tried that. Just to be honest, I think I was just bored and I wanted to do something with my time. But
Quick pause. I'm sorry, and I hope we don't derail. But like the influencer thing, that is a huge thing for a lot of people. Like that, even me. Like I'm very vain. I am also
very
I'm very vain with like a sprinkle of insecure, and so getting on camera, putting yourself out there, like that is a huge vulnerability that like a lot of people need to overcome. Did you experience that? Which again, I think the answer is no.
you know what's funny? Funny is that I remember people telling me, "Oh my God, you are so secure in yourself. Like, I love it." And I wouldn't get it because it's
There's no
not
other.
that I thought that I was like beautiful. Like, my thought was never, what would people think? Or what are you doing? Or that was never my thought, to be honest. I was just me, like, will I be able to edit this? Like, will I be able to? I didn't know makeup. So I was learning. I was like consuming a lot of hours of information and like how to do makeup basically. And that was where my focus was like, oh my God, I have to do this right. That was where my focus went, not how I looked and now I look back to it and I'm like, damn girl, it was bad. And now
It was
I get
rough.
why people were telling me, I love your confidence. It was like kind of like a
Like a
backhanded
dig.
compliment. Now I get it.
I admire your confidence, the way you're able to go
Literally,
out
it
there.
was
Wow.
just like that.
No, I was a viewer of that, and I was like, I'm always like, what is Danet gonna do next? Like, you were badass. We're our own worst critics, and yes, now with the times, I'm sure like what we know now, just as video quality, all this stuff. Back then, it wasn't a thing. Like you were killing it every step of the way.
I was not killing it. She's
Always
just
killing it.
being nice.
I loved it. I loved it. I would totally have like be entertained if you came back to like fit of the day or whatever the case may be, because you were awesome. All right, so getting back to this whole podcast is just going to be how much I love you.
My baby, I love you
and
too.
a dedication to that. So going back to Kendall, you got married, you're having the baby, you're moving, upsizing to a bigger house.
That was scary.
You took a huge risk of, your husband's not working a 9 to 5 anymore. You're practically the sole breadwinner of the house at this point, and we got 3 kids and my grandma who need to eat. And what are we going to do? And so what was the initial, I mean, obviously that is like the motivator of hustle, right? Just not leaving yourself any choice, taking that risk to going for it. What was the click of just going in it, making the business successful, and kind of getting those habits of an actual business owner?
Mm-hmm. So it was messy. It was very messy. I just remember because he tells me at this time, like, don't go back to work. Remember, I took a few months off, right?
Oh yes, because of the pregnancy.
Baby was 3 months old, where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to work. He's like, don't go back to work. Like, I got this. But mind you, being a business owner is not for the weak, okay? Because you don't have anything constant. So you don't know what your budget is, right? Because this is not even about like luxury and buying you things. It's about, I think the biggest luxury for me today is going to the grocery store and being like, not looking at a price. Just, I want to eat this week, this, and then fill up your cart and do whatever you please. For me, that's the biggest luxury. So that's where I was. I was the one who like putting money here and here and here. And then the kids wanted to try new things. And, me being able to do these things now, I went off the rails. I was like, more and more, we need more and more and more, because it was getting to us and then out the window faster than.
And it was coming in, yeah.
So I was like, I need to go back to work. Like, this, no ifs, ands, or buts. And he's like, don't go back to work. So we tried the no going back to work for a little. And I said, the only thing I'm telling you right now, I cannot be without is my nails. So it's like, if you can, pay for my nails and everything else in the house, I'm good.
Yeah.
And so he did, little thing. But the thing is not having we were not structured in the business back then. So 1 week was amazing. And then the next 3 was, where's the money? Right. So with that risk came a lot of insecurity, financial insecurity, which I come from. So in my nervous system, that's not something I work well with, because it's something that I have in the back of my mind. I'm like, I never want to go back to that. So I get myself into a 9 to 5 again. But then once you experience the not going somewhere and just doing whatever with your time, it was very hard for me. I was like, this is not what I want. So that was the moment where I'm like, I cannot work on 9 to 5. I need to figure something else. And that's where the trying to open the jewelry business, the trying to open the purse company.
The opening, you did it.
True, but I never even sold one, just because. So it turned into me. My mind was everywhere. I was investing money in things and not seeing that it actually, because obviously, let me backtrack. When you have a company or a business, which is a carpentry, that with one thing you can make a lot of money, then selling a purse for a $15 markup doesn't make sense to you, right?
Right.
So I'm like, this is not going to work.
It's all about like the levels of exposure that you get, and then you just dive in more and dive in more.
Exactly. So it all has been a series of, this is not going to work. This might work. So me throwing myself into, is this something that I like? Because for me, I'm the type of person that cannot do something if I don't feel passionate about it, if it doesn't interest me enough. I love money, but it's not enough to keep me in a place where I'm not 100% in it. Because then I think it shows.
Yeah.
And then that's where everything declined.
Everything.
I'm like, sales are not happening, or this is not happening because I'm not in it 100%. So I need to be in it to, you get me what I'm saying? That's my mentality behind everything.
And I want to take a pause in that just to highlight that I agree with you. I think that's a huge premise of Risk It. I think that when you do things that are inauthentic to you, and listen, guys, we all need a paycheck. We all need to get the bills paid. We got to do it. But when you only live for that and you don't create something of, you know, of passion, and passion comes as the result of indulging in your curiosities and the things that get you excited. And so whether you have that 9 to 5 or you don't, or, you know, whatever, however big or calculated the risk is for you, it's huge to honor those curiosities within yourself, because it's not just financial. It's not just success in creating a business. It's you, it's the inside of you. It's the person that you become when you don't spark those things into you. And so I think that personality trait that you have, and recognizing that within yourself, because I've spent years suppressing that, suppressing the, you know, honoring that when I'm interested in something, I'm going to make it work and it's going to be great, versus what I'm supposed to do and what the narrative is and how people expect me to show up in life. That's a huge part that I think people really need to just like sit and honor, is we're supposed to play. We're supposed to dive into our passions. If it does not ignite you, that is okay. If it does not ignite you anymore, because at one point it did, that is okay. We are here to play. So I just wanted to highlight that really quick. But
The thing is that you said something very interesting, and is the play. The thing is that I'm very fortunate to have been able to do that. Okay. Not everyone, because if you're surviving right now, like I was, your mind is not there, and it's okay.
yeah, yeah,
It's just like whenever my financials are peaked, like I'm good, I feel like going to the gym. I feel like getting dressed. I feel like, because my life is good, right? Like I'm
correct.
set, I'm good. So that's why I never try to judge anyone
No,
that's,
yeah,
in a different mindset, in a different place, because I've been through it all. I know what it feels to be and what makes it easier and what makes it, you get me? So, but yeah, I think it all started in that sense, because I went from having nothing to being comfortable, to being a risk taker and sometimes not working out, and dealing with financial instability when you have a lot of money and then another week you have nothing, but the bills keep, and then you upgrade your life. What I know that you've talked about that, because you're the greatest financial planner, and we've talked about this, right? So that was another lesson in itself that I'm still working at, you know.
yeah.
So
Me
I'm
too.
like, I think the new adults, which is where it's us,
Us.
we're in the emerging adulthood. We're like dragging the adulting, because I don't ever remember my mom doubting what she wanted to be. My mom has been the same thing since she was 18, and she
Yeah.
still does it. She's a Capricorn though.
I mean, she thrives on
Stability,
it.
stability queen.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm here
No,
like,
definitely not me.
exactly. So just to wrap it up in that sense is, it has been like this. And to be a business owner, the grit that you have to have in your mind, you have to have
Yeah.
grit. You have to have this fluidity that I don't even know if that's a word, because it's just tough. A lot of things. You need a lot of things. And if you haven't been that before, you need to learn by making mistakes. That's the only way we learn, unfortunately.
The only way to get there is by taking those risks. I think the first thing is really acknowledging and realizing where you're at. And listen, guys, not to knock a 9 to 5. Like this episode especially is about just
Doing good.
realize, yeah, realizing where you want to be, and like having the audacity and the, just junction, or whatever I guess it's called, to go all in and to not play it safe. But I think that sometimes, especially in the world that we live in, you won't snap out of that mindset unless you're told, like, hey, we're supposed to play here. We're supposed to have something passionate. It's not where none of us know what we're doing. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay you're going to fail repeatedly, because even if you're starting out at year 1 or you're starting out at year 5, in year 10 you were still making mistakes in year 5. You see what I'm saying? So as we progress and as we move on, these are lessons that we learn. But the first step is definitely recognition of like, what is it that I want? What does freedom mean to me? Realizing that you're gonna suck in the beginning. It's okay to make mistakes, and if you're not making mistakes, that is the definition of failure.
You're not growing.
Yeah, you're not doing anything. And then just gaining little by little those mistakes and the way you handle those mistakes, allowing that to give you the confidence that Danet was just fucking born with, of being like, I want to do this. I can do this. And not thinking about anything else. So what does freedom mean to you?
For me, freedom is just doing whatever the hell you want to do, right?
Yeah.
It's not just not having any responsibility. I love responsibility. I feel the best whenever I have something to work towards to and to look forward to. It's not that. It's just having the freedom to do it on my terms and how I see fit, and having the time to pick up my kids from school. It's having the freedom of having the money and not having to worry about money. Okay. And still doing things that I enjoy and with my family. Honestly.
What is the price of that freedom?
Consistency, discipline. Right now, for me, it means living below what I want.
That's a huge risk too. Monetarily, when you're starting a business, I mean, it takes.
It takes time. It takes money. What doesn't it take?
So I just want to highlight, every freedom means something different to everyone.
Yeah.
And there is always a price to that freedom. And so it's just a matter of, one, realizing what you want to do, bringing it in and having the confidence to do it, being okay with mistakes, but then also realizing that there is hard work. As eloquent as I've seen you turn your life into just this train of passions and moving forward, and all I've seen is success. And like you said the other day on your Instagram, your highlight reel, obviously I've had a little privy to the background of that, but at the same time it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of what you're willing to give up. That is the risk. Is there a time that you've ever felt completely stuck?
Yes.
And what was the mindset change that got you through that?
I'm going to be 100, completely honest right now.
Let's go.
So nothing that I've ever done has felt easy. Okay. And I think I come from a very hard background. So I kind of expect things to not be easy. So when problem arises, it's just built in me. I haven't had to work for this. I just look for what's best, the next move, and I do it. I don't worry more than I have to, because if it has a solution, then I'm going to do that. And if it doesn't, then I'm not going to worry about it.
I love that. That's huge.
And it sounds like, oh my God, but I work that way. Everything is mindset. So whenever I'm feeling ugly feelings, because it happens, okay, especially that week before, okay, of what, I just know myself, and I know that it's just something that's going to pass, and eventually I'm going to go back to romanticizing the struggle and just doing the best that I can. It has felt like this is something that I need to work in order to get to from point A to point B. And why wouldn't it work? And it has always worked.
I love that.
The moment that it doesn't feel good, I'm already thinking about something else.
That's how we move on to the next best thing, and just honoring that within ourselves, and not trying to just force shit all the time. We're trying to force shit all the time. It makes no fucking sense.
No. And it's not really the common thing, and it feels lonely. Because then you have people next to you feeling like, when are you going to, is this it? Mind you, when I went to esthetician school, I had someone very close to me say, I hope this is it. Why would you hope? I have never asked you for money. I have never asked you for anything. You don't know my life. Why would you hope this is it for me? You get me what I'm saying? Yeah. So this has taught me, the way that I am has taught me that it's a very lonely journey. And not everyone lives this way. I just know that whenever I have needed a certain amount of money, or I've needed something for myself, that I always figure it out for some reason. And it all starts, I think, from something that caught my eye. I go into it, I research everything there is to research.
That's the generator in you.
I find a way and I build a business plan around it. And that's it.
And you just execute.
And I execute.
I love it. What is one quote or mantra that you live by?
The universe provides.
I wanted you to say it again. Guys, the universe provides. It's so true. Do what you need to do. Execute.
Even the day before, it never fails. Like you have a deadline and you're like with your gut here, okay? And you're like, that's it. The day before, the hour before is like from the sky.
That is,
and it has happened so many times that now it's just, you know.
You just
exactly.
You trust.
And so my next journey is finding a way where I don't have to go through that turmoil and setting myself up for just everything easy. I'm ready for everything easy. You get me? I know.
And that's also a nervous system change too, because when you are used to productive struggle, you almost seek productive struggle. You almost continue to create that in your world and going, because that's what success means to you. It means that like the problem solving and that is what that means. And so that mindset change of saying, no, I want some ease, I want some flow, that's a struggle within itself. But so what is the boldest piece of advice that you would give to our listeners right now if they are on the verge of wanting to take a risk, no matter what that may be?
If it is dependable on you, then you have everything that you need because you have control and you can make it anything. You have the power. Is that easy? Truly, that's it. And I know we just talked about struggle. You're going to struggle. There's no way around it. Okay. It has to feel hard before it feels easy. And then hopefully you're not like me that when it feels easy, then you want to move on to the next thing.
And that's fine too. And that's totally fine too. I think that, you know, you don't know what you really like or what you'd be good at, or like you don't really know unless you go all in. And so that's what people in the, you know, the commoner mindset that I'm totally stealing now is that like we need to be stuck and we need to pursue one thing and you have to just pick something and live by it forever. And it's like, but I tried it and I truly honestly gave it a try. I did my best to throw everything at it and I realized that I don't fucking like it. And that is okay. Because you then you just live with the regret of just being like, oh, I think I like that thing. And well, you really don't know until you throw yourself in it. And that's just, you know, a perspective that people don't freaking adopt. So
everything takes work. So when things, you got to say, oh, I like this. But if you don't like the work that it takes, you're not going to like it. And you don't know. It's like a relationship. It's like a relationship. We all have our positive and negatives, right? Good qualities, bad qualities. It's like, am I willing to stay with this person, even though they have this, whatever quality? Am I going to stuck to this for the rest of my life? It's the same thing with whatever you want to do with your life.
With whatever you want to fucking do. Whatever you want to fucking do.
I have a request from you.
What?
I want you to put a clip that you think that you hate. Okay? This is a challenge for you.
I love it.
A clip that you hate, that you think it's gonna, oh my God, or whatever you tell yourself, and you have to post it. Whatever it is. It could be 5 seconds, it could be 2, it could be a minute, whatever you want. But you absolutely hate it, and you have to post it.
Okay. Yeah. It's Risky with Kristi. I accept the challenge.
Exactly.
Fuck it. Literally, that's my mantra now. Fuck it. I thank you for that because I will do that, and that will probably help me so much also with just my mental prison. But I want to get through some questions, and then I want to highlight Amani because we definitely want to talk about that, and I don't want this podcast to go too long where everyone's like, what the fuck? Okay, so what is something on your bucket list that you have not checked off yet?
Something on my bucket list.
Like, what is the next thing that you're like working towards?
Buying properties.
Awesome. It's going to be done. And what is something that is very simple, but it brings you joy?
Reading.
I love that.
Yeah.
So talk to me now about, I want to talk about the present moment. We've talked about your past. We talked about your upbringing, what shaped you into the person you are, what, the different businesses, challenges that you've had and what you've had to, go through in order to be here today and to be able to launch this amazingly successful and relaxing business, Amani Head Spa. What gave you the idea? Where are you at with it today? Where do you hope for it to go? Let's go into that a little bit.
So I had just not launched, but opened my Airbnb business after many, many, many struggles. But I had that passive income because it was truly passive. I was not working there. I had someone cleaning and doing all the things. So my job was only like answering messages. So for me, it felt passive. So I'm like, what's next? I have this income. I am working at the dentist place, which we didn't even cover. But what's next for me? Dentistry was surprisingly amazing. I loved it. I felt like I was making a difference. But the thing is that it was just too time consuming. I would leave my house at 6 in the morning and I would return at 7 p.m. because the commute was so long and the hours were so long. It was just not sustainable. So I knew after the 4-month mark that this might not be something that I could see, working out for me because of this aspect, right? It was more to it that I could have done. But at the moment, I was like, my son started 9th grade. I had, problems with that area. So I was like, I need to be more present.
Right.
What's going to help me be more present, right? So I had seen the head spa go viral, right? And I was like, I would pay someone to do this for me on a monthly basis. That looks so good. So I remember that, I needed to find something back again, my kids, right?
Yeah.
Everything's rooted from my kids. It's insane now that I look back to it. So I'm like, I need to solve this problem. So I bought a bed. I hadn't even gone to school for anything.
At this point, had you received a head spa massage?
Never.
This is what I love about you.
No, never, ever. There was none here in Miami. So I remember DMing a friend and I said, because she had sent me a video, and I said, oh my God, that looks so good, because she knows I love massages. So I find months after another video and I'm like, I'm going to do this. Okay. Mind you,
That
I was
reminds me,
very
we didn't even talk about the lashes either.
and bath bombs and so yeah.
Anyway, back. But it goes all hand in hand of like
Yes,
where
yes.
where you're supposed to be,
Yes. So I've always loved skincare. I have applied Pond's cream since I was in middle school. Okay, I've been that girl. So I'm like, I bought a bed, and Brian's like, what are you doing buying a bed? You don't have a career in that. You don't have like I'm like,
Qué locura.
listen to me, dude. Okay. I was like, esthetician school is 3 months. The bed takes 3 months to arrive from China. Okay.
Bet. You had it all figured out. Pero
And
nothing figured out.
this was at 3 a.m. because ideas come to me when I'm asleep, like when I'm in bed. And then that night I don't sleep and I plan the whole trajectory of everything that I want to do in a night. Okay. In a sleepless night.
Which is manifesting.
Okay. I didn't know that, but okay. So that's it. I bought the bed. I went the next day. I had a meeting in the school and I started the next week.
The bed came. You were
The
an
bed
expert.
came.
You were an expert guru.
So I'm like, okay, I want a suite, but there's more people. And I want this to be very zen. I don't want any noise. I knew how I wanted it, how I envisioned it. So a good friend of mine, her mom owns a spa. So I put it in my little mind and I'm like, I'm going to put it on my Instagram. And I said, if anyone knows a room where I can rent at a spa Please let me know. And she saw it within like 2 minutes and she DM'd me. And I was like, so I opened the DM and I was like, this is the best outcome that I was hoping for. Like, this is what I wanted, honestly. But instead of asking directly, I just put it out there and she saw it. And I was like, because if it's meant to be, it will be, right?
And she'll want it too. Yeah.
And she wanted to. So it was, I feel like that's how I go about things. I'm not like really direct. I just know what I want and then I put it out there. And then if it happens, then it's a sign for me to continue. And that's it. Like, we fixed the place. And
it has been nonstop since that moment that you bought that bed. Like, it just, everything, I mean, with productive struggle, obviously, like everything else, but for the most part, like everything, it's doing great.
Yeah. The bed came with recycling water, and I thought that was disgusting. So that was a really huge setback. So I remember I opened my books to pre-booking 2 weeks before my opening day. I didn't have my license yet.
You are like this is why you're my first person, because you literally embody risk it with like just like you just exude. I'm the one that has to figure out how to risk it and like hype myself up. You're just like, this is how it's gonna go, and it goes like that every time.
I opened the 23rd and I received my license the 20th. I didn't have a bed set up because, again, I didn't want to use recycled water. I think that was disgusting.
Yeah,
I was like, there's no way I'm doing this. And my bed was done an hour before my first client came.
Literally, when you talked about like putting out your intention, manifesting, and it is that 11th hour. It is the 11th hour that it drops, and you don't know when the 11th hour is. You don't know when that last moment is that it's going to drop in. You just have to keep working, keep doing what you can, keep problem solving, and have a shit ton of fucking faith, because that's really how it fucking
that's the main thing. The thing is with me, and I'm like, if I give it my all and I have the best intentions behind it, why wouldn't it work out? And since I've had a plethora of experience of picking it up, then I know that it's going to come with struggles. It's going to test you in a way of, is this what you really want? And then it's going to happen for you. Just like that.
I love that. So you're in the middle of Amani. You're in the middle of the head spa. You know, you're also going to school for
Nursing.
Well, after that, so at what point did you start doing the facials and the
That's a cool story. So I'm booked out for a month in advance at this point. The second week I started looking for someone. I was like, I love work, but not this much work.
Yeah.
I can't. Again, I need my family time. My kids need me. That's where everything comes from, right? So I'm like, I'm not doing more than four clients myself. The weekends would get really full and it was just me. So I found someone who is Angel. I absolutely adore this woman. And she took over my weekends. And she's so good. And she had like 20 years of experience and she just like fell on my lap and I was like, and she's still with me today. So I love you, Mireya, if you're watching this. Summer comes around and everything slows down. Oh my God, wait, no, this is a big piece. This is a big piece of information. So when I go into the spot, like my new little place, in the same building, there was a guy who rented a restaurant, and because in the building that I'm at is 3 little places, right? The spa, the hair salon, and then a storage place. So I tell my friend's mom, and I'm like, oh my God, I will love to rent that little space.
Boom.
And she's like, well, funny enough, you know, he has had like legal trouble, so he might at some point. I remember getting home and like at night, I was just like envisioning. I hadn't even seen the place inside, but I envisioned where I was going to put everything. Okay. Again, this is not, I didn't even call it manifesting. Okay. It was just me like
listening to the nudges in your fucking gut. Like, that's what it is. It's like something comes up and you don't push it down. You know, like whereas me or other scaredy cats, it'll be like a thought will come up and immediately you're putting a doubt to it. Like that's what that is. You're listening to your fucking gut and you're going by it. And those are the nuggets that set those intentions.
Yeah. So you want to talk about struggle? The summertime comes. I'm doing the training for people that want to do the head spas. Everyone's like, are you crazy? You're giving people the opportunity to be like your competitors. I'm like, I don't see it that way. There's enough massage places and there's enough spas. I don't need to have everybody, have the
options.
Exactly. So I start training and I meet the lovely, person that I know now that I do facials for. Okay. So I always wanted to do facials. That's what I love. Head spa was something to kickstart my esthetician business, but I don't have the space. So I am training someone that owns a med spa because she wants to have that service. And we instantly click. She was actually the first person to reach out to me asking if I wanted to do a course or something, if I had a course. And I was like, I don't, but I could. Like, what? And then I was like, now I'm not an instructor. I won't be able to give you like a diploma or anything, but I'm down to teach you what I have created and along with everything that you need. And we finally meet. We hit it off. I train her people. She calls me up like a week after and she's like, I'm going through this. I need someone. The person that you trained is no longer with us. Like, what can I do? Like, I'm losing my mind. Mind you, she invested in this. So I was like, gotcha, girl. I was like, I'll train anyone else that you have, that you find. If you need someone for facials, I'm here. Head spas, you could, I could train someone else for you. And that's how it happened.
That is amazing.
Literally. And now, I work there. Obviously I split my time with everything going that I have on top of me, but I love them so much. Yeah.
That is awesome. So where is Amani at now in its journey? Where are you trying to take it? Where is the esthetician work going? Where are you trying to take that? What should we expect to see next from Danet?
So Amani was born, it was Skintology by DT before. Right. Amani is born the moment that the space that I wanted becomes available. And we were in the middle summer. It was so slow. I went from making $10,000 in plus a month from just barely covering my rent. Obviously, I am a person that doesn't like to spend my own money on my things that I take on.
We learned that from the photography business.
Yes. I want things to pay for itself. And I was like, that's a risky moment, big time for me. I was like, oh my God. Obviously, I wasn't paying much attention to it just because I was focused, right? I had that set up. I'm like, what's next for me? I was like, I wanted this, but this is my current reality. This is something that I want. So I have a really good friend of mine who took my course and she was doing it on her end. And I'm like, I have talked to her about it. I'm like, this space I really wanted. It's, it gives me the option to expand. And she mentioned like she would love to partner up with me, but I've had like bad experiences with it. So I was like, kind of like, maybe, I don't know. So that place becomes available. And I'm like, I know I can't do it alone.
Yeah.
I reach out to her and I'm like, this is happening. Do you want to? And she's like, done deal. So, and it has been a huge financial setback for us because we spent so many months renovating it. That place was a mess. We're not even done yet.
Investment, which investment you're giving up some of the freedom financially that you have to put it into this thing and see if it grows, and hopefully it does. But those moments are big and scary, and that is a lot
very scary
of nervous system work.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So, and my biggest thing is having clients for my girls, they count on it. So that's a huge thing for me. So we're getting there. Things are picking up. Because we have the product, we have the hands, we have the heart. We are really good people. So I know it's just gonna be a matter of time. It's not
100%.
if, it's not when, it's when.
Like the one thing that I know about you at this point is that whatever product you're delivering, whatever service you're giving, whatever has Danette's name behind it, it's fucking quality. So there is no way it's not going to work. It's just a matter of when. So
yeah, thank you so much.
Well, so where do you see it future?
So where do I see Amani? I see Amani everywhere, in Miami and the neighboring places. Obviously, when it comes to expansion, you kind of lose your personal touch, and that's something that I haven't done because of that. That's stopping me a little bit, because finding someone that represents you is really hard. Really, really hard. I want everyone to experience what I have envisioned in my mind, because in my mind is perfect, right? I know that doesn't exist, and not everyone's gonna take it, and it's just impossible, right? But that's my wish. So it's like, I want this, but will I be willing to let go? And that's just something I have to figure out, my partner and I, together. But hopefully taking over.
That is awesome. And I think that you will. And I think that, again, everything in life is struggle. So if you choose productive struggle every step of the way, and depending how fast you throw yourself into it, you're going to reach new challenges, and you're going to reach new things that you're like, I don't know if I want this, or I don't know if I want that. And the fear of expansion of a business is something that I think all entrepreneurs share, especially when you have a good brand and you have a quality product, and you're someone who gives a fuck about what you put out there. The people who just, Shein is, even though no hate Shein, but like, it's mass produced, so they're just putting out and see what sticks. When you want to have a brand that people can trust, that is, amongst the entrepreneurs that I've spoken to, that is a huge fear. And learning how to do that strategically, finding people that represent the values that you represent, that is a huge fear that you have to over in order to get to that freedom.
You leave a lot of money at the table when you do that.
Yeah, a lot of money on the table. So I love so much your story. I love so much your journey. Again, having you as my first podcaster, first interview, was like a no-brainer. When I know that I want to do interviews and I want to highlight badasses, and the first person that is always Danet. And I think that the risks that you've taken, and the bold action that you've taken, the audacity that you have, and the track record of different experiences and different passions, and showing yourself that if I did this, I can do this too, is a huge telltale to the success that you've lived, and the success of not just your businesses, but just life. Like when you show up, when you wake up tomorrow, you know that you owned your life, and you did it by design, and you did it with intention. And that is not something that a lot of us are born with. So the special, maybe they do it, but from what I see, it is those micro failures on a day-to-day basis. It is diving into your curiosities and seeing if they become a passion or if they don't. It's having that audacity. And again, there is no one that you just, like, you encompass that. So I wanted you to be here today, besides the fact that you're so pretty and people are gonna love to look at you. And I wanted your story to be like the first story that we showcase. So thank you so much for being with us today, for granting us with your presence and with your story, and being vulnerable and open. If today's episode inspired anyone, please share, like, comment, repost. Go visit Danet. Go be a fan of Danet. If there is anyone that you want in your little circle to really push you to the next move, it is her. So Danet, tell everyone where they can find you at, and whatever else you want to leave on the table at Risk It.
Well, the only thing I want to say is that I am very proud of you.
Thank
so
you.
Proud of you. I truly, 10 years ago when I met you, I instantly loved you. I loved your personality, your light. You are an incredible person.
Thank you.
Through and through. And I know what you've been through. And seeing you put yourself out there is just, I got literal goosebumps. Like, you think I inspire you? No, you inspire me. So thank you for having me. I love you very much. And then next time it would be more,
Yeah. Guys, we're risking it with Kristi too.
We are risking it,
fuck,
exactly. I love you so, 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 so much.
Yes.
And next time that you have me, I don't know, maybe we'll both be in a very different place and we're going to be like, oh, remember when we wanted this? So
I agree. I think the next time we do this, we need to be together and it needs to be on a vacation somewhere.
ooh, yeah.
In a vacation.
Specific, please. Tell me what's on your mind.
There's a beach, our wherever we are. The place is not specific right now because wherever we are, we're going to be the fun. But our place, our Airbnb is overlooking the water. We are so relaxed. We probably feel the same way, but a little bit more confident than we feel now because we're constantly looking for the next thing and next struggle. So we're just like, bitch, how did we get here? But we're there. When we talk about financial security, we got it down.
Yes.
And not that we're not taking big financial risks because that's another part of it, but everything else is also in order and we look good and we feel good and our kids are healthy and we're toasting and cheersing and laughing and having a great motherfucking time.
Can't wait.
I love it. That's what's going to happen. It already happened. But tell people where they can find you. I want them to flock you as much as possible.
So Instagram, personal Instagram is Kintology by Danet _. And then my business account is Amani Head Spa. That's it.
Perfect. All right. Well, remember everyone, freedom is right on the other side of risk. So let's risk it all, baby.
Woo! We did it!